welcome to the EBL ICT program Class of 2020 graduation ceremony. A warm welcome to our guests, to our stakeholders, to session members, and most importantly, to you, our ICT graduates of 2020 who are connected to this program virtually. To the EBL Class of 2020 graduates, we say to you, congratulations. You have stood the test of time. You met COVID-19 at its peak and you survived. To you, we say congratulations, we celebrate you and your success. On our procession today, we have a few honored guests. Firstly, we have Dr. Tabutiti. He is the CEO and chairman of EBL Institute. He's an internationally accredited business coach, master trainer of entrepreneurship, an investor, and speaker. Next, we have Mekusile Mtunzi Herwati. She's the general manager of MTN SA Foundation. Next, we have Mr. Harry Welby Cook. He's an entrepreneur, a professional speaker, a leading business and executive coach, and he's the master licensee of the largest business coaching company globally called Action Coach. Next, we have Mr. Dion Barnard. He is the Deputy Director of the University of the Free State Business School. Next, we have Mrs. Ansi Barnard. She is the Senior Officer of the University of the Free State Business School. Next, we have Mr. Bernard Smith. He's a Chartered Accountant, a Content Developer, and a Lecturer for UFS Business School. On our program today, firstly, we're going to enjoy a talk from the University of the Free State Business School titled The 2020 Journey and the Learning Dynamics in the New Normal. Next, we'll have a performance by Poto Panache of a song called Because We Believe. Next, we'll have an introduction of our keynote speaker from Action Coach. Then we'll have a keynote address that is titled The Need for Innovation in an Ever-Changing World of Chaos. After that, we'll have our official graduation ceremony. Then after, we'll have a stakeholder address from MTN SA Foundation, and then we'll have a vote of thanks. To start our program today, I would like to invite from Business School, the Deputy Director of Business School, Mr. Dion Barnard, to give us a talk titled The 2020 Journey and the Learning Dynamics in the New Normal. From Mr. Dion Barnard.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What a great privilege it is to stand here in front of you this morning, having been a witness to a period that we all went through, and specifically, like our Master of Ceremonies mentioned, you guys having to go through a learning journey during these challenging times. We come out of an age where we were unfairly exposed to stability, to predictability, to things being normal. If you think about it, generations before us lived through 2 world wars. They lived through the 1918 flu epidemic. They lived through the Great Depression. They were probably much more adept to dealing with unpredictability and uncertainty than we currently are. We've grown attached to the notion of things being stable, and that is our so-called normal. And I think we can agree on one thing, that so-called normal is gone forever. We live in times of unpredictable and exponential change. I was privileged enough to one day listen to a young French professor giving a keynote on exactly that. And he used an example that will stay with me for the rest of my life. He said that if you use the principle of exponentiality and you compare it to standing in front of a pond that has only one lily on it, and that lily has the ability to duplicate itself on a daily basis, and it takes 99 days for the pond to be covered 50% with these lilies, how long will it take for the pond to be completely covered in lilies? And the answer is the next day. Because if it's 50% covered and each lily can duplicate itself in 24 hours, then the next day the pond will be completely covered by lilies. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we find ourselves in time. This is the space that we have to cope with. Everything is on a knife's edge, and it's been building up for a century to get to this stage. And for the UFS, for the business school, for the EBL Institute, for MTN, for everybody, it was no different. The impact of the epidemic was tremendous. But I'm absolutely astounded by human nature and its ability to realign, to adapt, and to thrive. If you just think of the millions of dollars that goes into research and building models to manage organizational change, and here we are, a face-to-face university, delivering education in a contact environment on a Thursday, and on the Monday you're an online university. You're an online business school. Together with our partners EBL, we then got very innovative, true to human nature. And I'm very proud to say that also with our facilitator, Werner Schmidt over there, we were able to convert this program in a fashion that was not just delivered digitally and over a distance, remotely, but that we were still able to achieve the true learning objectives. And that was to give people the ability to conceptually take an innovative idea and transform it into an executional business model and a bankable business plan. The students were accordingly assessed and found competent in that way. So from the university side, from the business school side, and from all our partners here, heartily congratulations. You have been, not willingly, and you didn't even know it, you were part of a process that gave birth to an entrepreneurship program that are already running fully fledged at several other locations. And you were the guinea pigs. The circumstances and you as students created the environment and the context for us to convert this program into a fully online delivery, and it's going only from strength to strength. So, sorry, there my hat went.
That's off to you.
That's off to you. So from the business school side and from our partner side, heartily congratulations, well done. We're very proud of you. I always say that if it was easy to be an entrepreneur, everybody would have done it. It's extremely difficult, but you've shown the right attitude and the right value system to see this program through, and that will stand you in good stead for being an entrepreneur in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dion Barna, for that very insightful talk on the journey of 2020 and the learning dynamics in the North. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me invite Mr. Khoto Panache for another performance titled Because We Believe. surviving. I think they believed that they could succeed, and here you are, we're celebrating you. It's your graduation, which means you have succeeded. Congratulations on that, and thank you very much, Mr. Hoto Panache, for that very powerful performance. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like now to invite the chairman and CEO of EBL Institute and Action Coach Africa to come and introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Tabupiti. Over to you, sir.
Program Director, members of the procession, protocol observed. It is my great honor, ladies and gentlemen, to come and introduce to you our keynote speaker today that we brought all the way from our other country here in South Africa, Cape Town. We could not get any other better speaker who understands the situation and entrepreneurs than he does. It is protocol that we read the 5-page resume that he's got. That's how much he's done so far, and he's still a young man. So, but what I will do is that I'll just give you the summary. It is my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you today Mr. Harry Welby Cook, who is the master licensee of Action Coach in Southern Africa, meaning that he brought the world's largest business coaching firm in Africa. It has got multiple franchises across the continent. He's a passionate entrepreneur. Just to give you his background, he is from finance background in the banking sector, where he has done a lot of transformation in the retail banking, credit, and risk management. Also, he's the CEO of Legacy Brands. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a very dynamic man. He is a family man, happily married, something that a lot of men cannot publicly declare, but he's happily married and is the father of 3 gorgeous children. His hobbies is a motorsport. He loves motorsport. He's a guitarist. He's a drummer, although modestly he will say that he just makes noise with the drums, but I know he's very good at it. He does surfboarding. Those are some of his hobbies that he does. And also, he's a man who is very charitable. He gives a lot to reach for a dream. Not just that, he's got a lot of accolades under him. Awards like Rising Star Award in Entrepreneurship category in 2014. He was the finalist of Best Clients Results in Action Coach EMA Conference 2009, which is Global Action Men Award, also which is global. He holds a lot of professional membership, like he's a previous president of Comensa, which is Coaches and Mentorship of South Africa. He's a member of International Business Coaching Institute. He's also a professional member of Professional Speakers Association of South Africa. You will also find him a lot writing for national publications like your Entrepreneur Magazine, Destiny, Fin24, and the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, allow me to bring to you your keynote speaker for the day, Mr. Harry Welby Cook.
Thank you very much, Tabo. You could have summarized even a little bit further because the stars of this morning's performance are you. So good morning, Dumelang, Goeiemorgen. It is truly an honor to be back in the Free State because despite a surname like Welby Cook, I am proudly South African and grew up an hour and a half from here in a little town called Welkom. And as I said to Ansi early on, I drove around the Hoofie. I know all the jokes about Welkom in Welkom. I went to City Bum Cleaners or Carol's Boxing Club, otherwise known as CBC Welkom, and it really is an honor to be back in the Free State. My parents lived here until recently. My in-laws still live here. I got the privilege to connect with my mother-in-law last night. And I truly love the Free State as much as I love South Africa. But before we go any further, I'd like the procession to please stand, all of you, so that we can give you a standing ovation for your achievements over the past year. Because Dion mentioned it, if entrepreneurship was for everyone, then it would be easy. And the reality is entrepreneurship is supposed to be hard. There is, however, a simplicity to it, and we'll talk through innovation around the principles more than the theory of it. But this is my belief, and it was so fitting our serenading around because we believe. My belief is that the world is only possible because of business. Think about it. Everything we have today, everything we do, everything we experience is because of business. Our sponsors, MTN, who make this possible, are a force to be reckoned with on the African continent. They run a business. The university, whilst maybe a different type of organization, is a business. The EBL Institute, Action Coach, and every one of your businesses are a business. We wouldn't have drinking water, electricity, communication, or transport if we didn't have business. But business needs to transform so that it makes sure that business is for a better tomorrow. So I want to talk about some principles, and in the short time we have, I'm going to talk about 7 different things that I'd like you to focus on as you go through your journey. And the first one is banish the word pivot. Thank you, coronavirus, for bringing us this word. And thank you to everybody by saying, we need to pivot, we need to pivot. It's the biggest load of nonsense. Because it's not the coronavirus that brought that about. Because think a little bit before coronavirus, and what did we have? We had the word disruption. Be like Airbnb, the biggest hotel group on the world that doesn't own a room. And before disruption, we had innovation. And before innovation, we had change. The reality is simple. It's adapt or die. The dinosaurs did not, and they are no longer with us, except in fossils. So the first fundamental principle is forget about pivot and understand that change, evolution, whatever you want to call it, is part and parcel of what you will face forever in your journey as an entrepreneur. And I think that's an important fantasy that I want to break. That because you've gone through this program, you've now arrived. You've got to the top of the mountain and all you can see are the fruits that should lie before you. That's nonsense. You will be forced and called upon to change, to adapt, to pivot, to innovate forever. Because the reality is, the second principle is, you've earned the right to embrace bigger challenges. So when we banish the word pivot at the first one, the second one is embrace the change. Because through this program, whilst you've been grown and stretched and developed, and in particularly in the last year when we've had trying circumstances, all you've done is gone from crawling to walking. Because remember that, if you can, most of us can't, the process of crawling and standing up one day and going, I have the courage to take the step. But if you were anything like me, I can't really remember, but I've seen it in my children. After that first step, what happened? You fell. And the reality is, as an entrepreneur, you will fall. In fact, I want you to fall. Because if you don't fall, you won't get up. If you don't get up, you won't be stronger. I didn't say to my children when they fell the first time and said, sure, Tristan, I always knew you didn't have it in you. Maybe you should just be a crawler for the rest of your life. That's not what I said. As a parent, we encourage the downfall because we know it gets stronger. But just because I can walk doesn't mean I can run. Just because I can run doesn't mean that I can run distance or speed. So the second reality is that the notion of embracing change will be with you forever. When you went from the top of the food chain in primary school, 3 weeks later joining high school, you went from hero to zero. And you struggled through high school and you found a way to make it work, and you got to matric, if you were fortunate enough in our country to get a matric, and you were again the top of the food chain. And from the end of November to late January, or in this case, this year, 15th of March, when you were maybe privileged to go to university, you went again from hero to zero. And that repeated when you got to the end of university, and a couple of weeks later, if you were fortunate enough to get a job, you went from hero to zero. And every stretch, every change, every innovation you do in your business will be the same. And you need to embrace that. And the way you embrace that is you either search it out or it smacks you in the face. And the third principle of finding innovation in this chaotic world is to ensure that you learn before you earn. The only place that you'll find it the other way around is in the English dictionary. Otherwise, it's learn first, then earn. If you find yourself stuck, where do I need to reach out for a learning intervention? If I find myself that I'm in a comfort zone, that things are maybe going a little bit too easy, that finally I've arrived at the top of the mountain, find a learning initiative to ensure that you stretch. Because if you don't apply lifelong learning in business, you won't have a business. Many of you might not even remember the VHS, or even before that, the Betamax video machine. You could be selling diamond-encrusted, carbon-reinforced video machines today. You wouldn't be in business. And we've had some monumental failures at corporate level because they didn't see change. If you're learning, you're broadening your perspective. You're looking outside of your comfort zone, outside of your business, outside of your knowledge base, outside of your friends. And you're finding new ways and different ways to do things. Because the more you learn, the more you'll earn. And here is the reality. The businesses that impact the most people ensure the greatest return in wealth. Now, obviously, we've had some monumental failures, even in South African connotation, around businesses that have done the opposite. But here's the reality. Let's think back a decade or so to who was the richest person on the planet. And that was Bill Gates. Why? Because almost every single office and many homes around the world had a Microsoft product part of daily use. Impacted the most people, returned the most value. The richest person today, Jeff Bezos from Amazon. Why? Because that company has revolutionized retailing. You can write a book and self-publish electronically on a global platform and compete against the biggest publishing companies in the world. You can sell your product from wherever you are in the world to anywhere else. And therefore, the most transactions, the biggest impact is ensured the greatest return of wealth. So when you go forward, look for ways to impact. Because the bigger the impact, the more the value out, the better the return for you. It doesn't work any other way. And if it does, it is not sustainable. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to do business for this year, for my next Porsche, for the fancy Italian suit. I want to do business for the rest of my life. And therefore, I want to do it in the way that will impact in a credible and sustainable way as many people as possible. So we've banished the word pivot. We've ensured that we're embracing change because it'll be around forever. We've ensured that if we're ever stuck, if we're ever complacent, we learn before we earn. And then we understand that money flows to where we make the biggest impact. But after those principles of innovation, where do we find innovative solutions to the chaos that we embrace every day? And believe you me, as certain as we are here today, once we get through this pandemic, the new challenges will arise. And with those new challenges will be the opportunity to step away and go, woe is me. Why is this happening to me? Or the opportunity will be there to embrace, to step forward, to innovate, to find solutions. And you find solutions in only two places, because it's the fundamental nature of human beings. Human beings move towards pleasure or away from pain. And if you think about it, most products, we don't consciously think about it like that, but that's the reality. So if we think of Steve Jobs, who was an icon in the communications and electronics and IT field, he said that tell people what they need and they will use it. We didn't know we needed an iPad, but it allowed us to move towards pleasure, entertainment. He helped educate us that we needed it for our daily lives, and it helped us move away from pain. So where does your business do that? Where can you actually go look and say, what do I do to help my customers or potential customers move towards pleasure or away from pain? Sometimes one or the other, sometimes both. And I want to give some practical examples to that. So last night, sitting on the couch, engaging with my mother-in-law, who's 70 this year, and she was talking about KFC. You would think KFC was actually made in South Africa. It's so popular. And we all love KFC, and KFC are having specials for retired people, pensioners. And she was perplexed. She said, KFC are running a special where you can get a crunch burger for 12 Rand. But you have to order online. Now, isn't that a bit of an oxymoron? You're expecting retired pensioners to order online. Well, that's innovation. Because through downloading the app, which didn't take very long, to signing up for an account, which didn't take too long, she was able to see the freedom and flexibility of not only the convenience factor, but it's incentivized that she can get a burger for 12 Rand. And she was saying, even for the grandkids or the family, it's easy to buy multiple. That's innovation. Another innovation story that's come out the last few days is a Japanese company that's created a rocket to go into space to test the option of actually collecting space trash. Because if we don't ruin our own planet enough, we're actually now doing the same in outer space. So there's 2,400 dead satellites roving the Earth, some of them going 4 times the speed of a bullet. Can you imagine if that hit you one day on your voyage to Mars? There's more than 100 million fragments of rubbish in space. So they're testing the technology to say, how do we clean it up? How do we magnetize our rockets, our satellites, our spaceships, so that once they are dead, once they have no more use, once they break up, we can actually collect them and bring them back into the atmosphere to burn it up. Now that's innovation at a whole nother level. But innovation in your local area that turns the tide and the scourge of unemployment, that might be the innovation that you need, where you can look around your local community and look at the reality of your unemployed friends, family members, colleagues, schoolmates, and say, I'm going to make a difference. So innovation doesn't have to be in outer space. It doesn't have to be at international level. It can, but it can also be very local. And the term that's come up the last few years that I really love is this notion of glocal. Globally relevant, globally competitive, but locally focused to really make the difference at grassroots level. So that innovation will present itself, or more than likely, you actually have to take time to think it through. And I think as entrepreneurs, the one thing we probably do too little of is just sit with a blank sheet of paper and think. Because we're so busy, we've got so much to do, there's so much coming at us. Our mind is working overtime, and we don't take the time to just sit and think it through. Because the reality is, you're normal if you have all the psychotic conditions as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs have ADHD. They can't sit still. They can't focus. Entrepreneurs have OCD, where they micromanage. Entrepreneurs have bipolar, because one day they're like this, the next day they're like that. It's normal. So if you've ever thought that that's not right, or somebody else has told you, oh no, you should behave yourself. Yeah, you can behave yourself badly. It's okay. Because you need those, but sometimes you still need the time to sit and think, and that's in those moments that your best ideas come. You'll find them in the car. You'll find them in the shower. You'll even find them on the toilet. Because those are the opportunities where often I'm not getting input from outside and I can actually think it through. So embrace those moments on that fifth principle to find innovation wherever you are. The sixth one is a hard pill to swallow. Because as humans, we want the easy way out. We want the shortcut. We want to look at people that have arrived and succeeded and go, I want that and I want it now. The reality is, unless you're in an IT business, it takes 25 years to be an overnight success. And even the IT multinational dominating businesses out there took 15 years to be the overnight success. I love it when we talk about businesses like Uber and Airbnb and all this nonsense and we say, oh, you should be like that. No, you shouldn't. Because they make no money. They just got it right to get a lot of funders to buy into the option. And Uber, when they launched on the stock exchange 2 years ago, said we probably will never make a profit unless we can find economies of scale and new revenue streams in our business model. Now, for you, I know that's not the reality. You don't have billionaire funders necessarily waiting to give you money. You can go search for them, but you need to find ways to focus on you, because who's got a lot better life planned for you than you? The government? Your friends? The financial institutions? I'd like to tell you no. The only person that's got something better planned for your life is you and maybe your mom. That's about that. Nobody else. So you need to take the sixth principle, extreme ownership. And in fact, in our organization, that's our theme for this year, based on a great TED Talk and a book by Jocko Willink on extreme ownership. A couple of weeks ago, a couple of months probably now, Elon Musk was asked, what do you do for motivation? And he said, if you need motivation, don't become an entrepreneur, because it can be a lonely journey. It can be an unforgiving journey. But you have to take extreme ownership. If you are facing challenges, find a way. Go back to learn before you earn and find a way. If you have an obstacle, find a way over, find a way around, find a way through. Because nobody will do this for you. And the benefit of all of this is that it's hard. So you will lose competitors along the way that are not willing to take that extreme ownership, that are not willing to step up and do what it takes. And if you persevere, you will get it right. We need to do that in our health. We need to do that in our wealth. We need to do that in our business, in our relationships, whether it's sales, marketing, finance, operations, HR, it doesn't matter. You need to take extreme ownership. And when you take extreme ownership, when you step up and take that first step, it's amazing how the world unfolds before you. Many years ago, I'd have to work it out. What is it now? 26, 27 years ago. Yeah, my 27 years of journeying, like a very famous South African did. I was in matric in Welkom and was faced with a scenario where I was the oldest of 4 children and didn't have the benefit to go to university. My parents said they would have made a plan. We didn't have the money. So everything I've achieved today, I needed to work hard for. I needed to get to, as I was joking with Werner early on, the dead end. And the road has just died. It doesn't have potholes in it. It's just died and ended. Then you have to build a new road. You have to find a way. But if you take this step, the world unfolds a little bit. If you take a second step, it unfolds a little bit more. And the more you engage with what you want, the more the reality is that it starts to come true. But it will not be a paved road in gold and a one easy straight line. You will need to take the detours. You will need to take the challenges, the hard knocks, because your number one skill as an entrepreneur is not finance, it's not sales, it's resilience. And resilience has a lot of fancy definitions. The reality is this is resilience. When you fall down, how quickly do you get up? The ability to bounce back from whatever you're facing will make sure that one day when you look back at your journey, you'll smile with fondness, remembering only most of the good and only some of the bad, thinking that this 25-year overnight success has been the best, most exciting, most stressful, most challenging, most motivating journey of my life. Because that leads us into the last reality. It is a privilege to be an entrepreneur. And as an entrepreneur, you have to employ people. Now, I want to tell you, very few people, especially in the beginning, can do it better than you. You will employ some aliens. You will have to pay them at the end of the month. They will not necessarily be as good as you, because in the beginning, it's your baby. You're doing all these things. You've got good at it. But the best way to scale any organization is with people. We look at the biggest IT companies in the world, Microsoft, Google, Facebook. They have thousands, tens of thousands, and some of them even over 100,000 staff members. That is a privilege to be in that position of power where you get to decide the direction, your destiny, but you also get to take people on that journey with you. It is truly a privilege. And with that privilege comes a lot of power. And in the wise words of Uncle Ben, and if you're not sure who Uncle Ben is, he's a fictional character written by Stan Lee in the Spider-Man movies. And Uncle Ben said to Peter Parker, who was Spider-Man, he said, with great power comes great responsibility. And as an entrepreneur, that's your privilege, is to not only have that great power, but the great sense of responsibility that comes with that. Because we only have one challenge in South Africa. And when I have this conversation with a lot of people, they say, Harry, are you mad? Do you read the news? We've got lots of problems. No, we have one. Only one. Our biggest challenge and only challenge in South Africa is unemployment. Because when you give somebody the privilege of a job, you give them choice. And with choice, they can better themselves. They can choose to put up with a bad system or do something and sacrifice to do something better. And many of us are the fruits of that, where our parents sacrificed to give us opportunities. If we fix unemployment, I guarantee you, we'll fix everything. So who's going to fix unemployment? The government? Uncle Cyril? Not a chance. By going through this program, by really stepping up into the big leagues of entrepreneurship, you have earned the privilege of being that person who's going to solve the challenge. I've earned that privilege. Most of the panel up here have earned that privilege. That if we employ more people, we will eradicate all of South Africa's problems. So I encourage you to take that privilege with a serious sense of purpose. Follow your dreams. Follow your passions. Dream bigger than you ever thought possible. Don't take no for an answer. Bump your head. Push through. Stand up. And you will ensure that my children, my grandchildren, still live in this beautiful country. Because I'm not going to Canada. I'm not going to New Zealand. I'm passionate about being in Bloemfontein, in the Free State, in this country. And I encourage you to do the same. It's been a true privilege to be here. Nkosi sikelele I Africa. Kia leboha.
I believe you all agree with me that that was a powerful note, as it deserves standing ovation. Every business, as Mr. Harry Roby Cook said, needs to innovate. You need to adapt or die, embrace the change, learn before you end, mentionally, step up, whatever it is. Thank you very much, Mr. Roby, Mr. Harry Roby Cook, for that amazing keynote speech and for sharing such powerful business principles and entrepreneurship with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next moment, I would like to invite all of you to observe the official graduation ceremony.
The Entrepreneurship and Business Literacy Institute applauds the 2020 ICT SMME program graduates for not only completing their NQF Level 5 curriculum, but for doing so whilst overcoming the effects that COVID-19 had on their businesses. The qualifying graduates will receive their EBL, Action Coach, and University of the Free State accredited certificates, along with a check to help them to grow their businesses. In no particular order, we present the class of 2020. Thapelo Molodi, Computer Programming. Tibang Padi, Designs and Develops Robotics. Zolile Siyoko, Installation of Satellite and Mainframe for Computers. Neo Lesako, Designing and Development of Robotics. Neo Mashuni, Computer Programming and Software Development. Lerato Kotwani, Digital Marketing. Fumani Koza, Hardware Repairs. Jeanette Sequaniela, Training of Coding and Computer Programming. Tatomile, App Development for a Truck Tracking App. Vitumelo Tekisho, Data Analytics and Software Services for Agribusinesses. Lerato Machedi, Internet Cafe. Sidiso Zondi, Internet Cafe. Stephen Majuro, Digital Solutions for Electronic Newspapers. Bulelani Languza, Digital Marketing. Ntumi Mukhasipe, Digital Solutions in Farming. Kenny Ndongwa, Graphic and Web Designing. Glenda Maliki, Graphic Design Services and Digital Marketing. Tsepo Chiluani, App Development. Karabo Tladi, Software Development and Data Security. Neo Moshani, Hardware Repairs. Siabonga Jaho, Digital Marketing. Rasmano Mdluli, web development and for digital posters. Khotso Malui, asset tracking devices. Pitso Suetsang, development of technical systems. Justice Mwadi, web and mobile development. Lerato Rampai, web and mobile development. Mandla Makanya, cybersecurity. Mutobi Chabalala, Fourth Industrial Revolution Career Prep. Doreen Maseko, asset tracking solutions for logistics companies. Mpemo Kwena, cybersecurity. Lebohang Likikela, asset tracking solutions through a panic app. Khetisi Lesweu, grocery delivery app. Mufumotse Moloi, graphic designing. Itumele Matsejo, asset tracking solutions for goods. Kamohelo Chaka, coding, programming, and ICT chips. Sibiletso Mokhomong, asset tracking solutions for machinery. Tshepo Buzana, designing and development of robotics. Kiamohetsu Ntoli, asset tracking solutions for cellular devices. Tumelo Potolo, development of solar chargers. Vitumelo Tekisho, data analytics and software services for agribusinesses. We once again would like to congratulate all of the students that were part of the EBL ICT SMME program for the year 2020.
We just honored the 40 graduates of the ICT SMME program for the EBL Institute. Now we've got a few special awards, and here to announce them is our Master of Ceremonies, Lisala Kheteng.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the Action Coach 2020 Business Excellence Awards, to announce the Entrepreneur of the Year. This is the person who's been consistent throughout the entire year. This is the person who's shown excellent performance and dedication to the program and taken the most responsibility in his role in the ICT program of 2020. This person is going to receive a trophy of excellence from Action Coach and also 10,000 Rand cash to his business. And here to present or to receive the trophy on behalf of the person, Mr. Werner Schmidt. And the Entrepreneur of the Year award goes to Mr. Zolile Siyoko. Right, for the Action Man Award from Action Coach, the person is going to receive the Action Man Medal of Honor. This is the person who's shown the most growth, the most results, and taken the most impactful actions or steps with the best results for him and his business. Here to accept the award in behalf of the student, we have Mr. Harry Welby-Cook from Action Coach Southern Africa. And the Action Man Award of Medal of Honor goes to Itumeleng Matsego. And this entrepreneur is going to receive the EBL Institute Entrepreneur of the Year trophy. And here to receive the trophy on behalf of the student, we have the chairman of EBL Institute and the CEO, Dr. Thabo Pitsi. And the Alumni of the Year 2020 award goes to Africa Dindwe.
Once again, we say to the EBL class of 2020, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. We celebrate you today and your success. Ladies and gentlemen, the next item on our program is a stakeholder address from MTN Foundation. Our next speaker is a seasoned communicator and a skilled marketing and brand marketing management expert with more than 12 years experience leading teams in large, diversified, and complex organizations, providing strategic and operational leadership and guidance to meet organizational goals. She is a marketing or a chartered marketer with over 15 years of experience in managing and building brands, and she remains committed to making brands alive and tangible, and she has remained passionate about giving back to communities and driving such platforms. She has a passion for mentoring and building capacity for future leaders in all areas of management, and she's a business expert, and also success is everything to her. Making a success of everything she takes on drives her. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the General Manager of MTN SA Foundation, Mekusile Mtunzi Herwat.
Thank you, Program Director. I think I didn't expect you to read that whole long, but anyway, I'll forgive you just for today. I would like to observe protocol, observe the procession that's with me that says accompany me, but most of all, I'd like to bring you yellow greetings from MTN. I think what is more important, I think today we're celebrating the class of 2020 and its achievement. And in our celebration, we would like to again ask my procession with me to stand up and we acknowledge the class of 2020. The class of 2020 walked the journey with MTN. I think as MTN would like to acknowledge that without the class of 2020, this today would not have been possible. We'll still be rallying and falling over the effects of COVID and lockdown for last year. But the way they adapted the program in such a manner that the class was able to learn as much as possible, do what they needed to do, and all virtual, has been amazing. I'd like to thank the partner, Thabo, and your team. I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank the university as well for the partnership. I think for us it is important to understand that we build communities through partnerships and we are more effective through partnerships. I've also been given the opportunity to welcome the class of 2021. And I take such great privilege to announce that MTN decided in 2021 to 2023 that will roll out this program in all the 9 provinces. And this program has taken on 5 provinces as it is. They've taken on the Eastern Cape, KZN, Western Cape, Northern Cape, and of course the Free State. And we'll continue to support our youth, our businesses out there to make sure that the class of 2021 succeeds in their journey of entrepreneurship. As they learn, acquire new skills, it is for their own good. And for me, I think as you walk this journey, you learn as much as possible. The class of 2021 emulate the class of 2020 and see the journey through. It's a lot of dedication, a lot of focus, and a lot of hard work, which I think without hard work, you will not be able to achieve what you have set out to do for this year. I know a lot of you applied for this program because you felt it fit that there was something lacking in your skills. You can only appreciate and realize your skills capabilities when you go through the program and you learn as much as possible. I'd like to leave you with this quote that says, "To whom much has been given, much is expected." We are giving you a lot as a cohort. We are expecting a lot out of you. I'll be back here, I think, next year to come and congratulate you as you walk the journey, when you have finished the journey with us. From me and the team, whom I know are watching from the virtual space, I'd like to thank this partnership. It's been successful, good 7 years of running and lots of lessons learned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mekusile, for that amazing and encouraging words. And we thank you as well for that, your valuable contribution in the past 7 years in this program, and the value that MTN brings so that this program can now expand to the entire country and over 5 provinces in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, now for the official vote of thanks, I would like to invite the chairman, the CEO of EBL Institute, Dr. Akhtar.
Thank you very much, Program Director. First of all, from my side as well, let me say congratulations to the class of 2020. I was privileged as your business coach to go through the program with you, to see you guys struggling to log on to Zoom. I hope some of you have improved your backgrounds because we are businesses now. Got a way of, got rid of the crying kids while you are in class. All the things that we've gone through. But it's very interesting that we actually started and we kept on improving as we went along, as it was not the norm. Now, just before I thank everyone today, I also just want to say that thank you, especially to the ladies who have taken on this sector, the ICT sector, that is so male-dominated. It's just like any other sectors, and mostly so for the youth of our country, for heeding the call. This is our Africa. This is our continent. We've got our own problems, and we need to create our own solutions ourselves. Let me just say as well, congratulations to you guys. I think you've gotten too many standing ovations now. I'm not going to do that now. Let me just also say to the new cohort of 2021, in the provinces that were mentioned by our general manager from MTN right now, Western Cape, Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal and Free State, and to our partners like your DUT, DITIA, CEDAS, NYDA, in all these provinces, we'd like to say thank you so much for the partnerships. Again, as Mekusile said, we can't do this without partnerships. To our funding partner, MTN, for seeing the vision and for making sure that our guys, we've got a whole lot of complaints. We've got cancers in our African society where, there are these mottos that, support black businesses, but at the same time, we come back. Black businesses are the ones who are problematic. Now, I think we have all stood up and said, you know what, we do not want this kind of culture attached to us as Africans. And when I refer to Africans, I refer to all black and white South Africans, because I think there is a false belief that when you say Africans, we only refer to the black citizens of our country. Africans, everyone who lives in Africa, is an African. Remember what the Freedom Charter says. So I would like to now get to my vote of thanks quickly. May I just, there's a disclaimer that I'll make. First of all, I would like to thank our procession. Now, if you walk into an African home, one of the rules that you know for sure that happens is that you will be offered something, food, and even if you are full, nowadays, our Herbalife people, I believe that people will keep, things like Herbalife because everyone will not want food. But in an African society, my fellow colleagues, if you enter the house, you'll be offered food. Whether you're a vegetarian, you'll be given meat to eat. You cannot say no to it. So as Africans, we would like to, give a token of our thank you from EBL Institute to our guests today. I would like to ask my team to please come forward, as I'm going to ask from business school. I'm going to ask, we call him Ndona, and you guys will understand exactly. I'm not going to explain what Ndona is or who Ndona is. I'm going to ask our Ndona from business school, Mr. Dion Barnard, can you please stand up? Tate Werner, can you please stand up? Meansi, can you please remain standing as my team will come and give you a token of appreciation from EBL Institute. Thank you so much for your time, for being here. We know that it is not easy nowadays, but you came out of your offices as well. We'd like to say thank you so much. Thank you. Right. And then from MTN South Africa, what a privilege that the general manager herself has left behind all her strategic, tactical duties of such a big organization to come and grace us with their presence here. I do want to say, though, we had a debate in terms of what do we then offer our guests, as a token of thanks. And the ladies, I don't want to say her age, but I'd like to say that it is unbelievable, as I'm saying it, and as it looks, that this young lady is actually, she has sort of reached her retirement. Yes, I'm also giving the same expression. Now, in our office, we had an argument in terms of now, what do we do? We wanted to bow out, but she's not bowing out. It's like she's got two lives, she's got this life. First of all, she was a medical doctor, now went into this profession, and I would not reveal her secrets, but now as she's bowing out of the corporate, she's got this other life that you think, okay, it's a 25-year-old who's got this, because it needs to last for another 50 years. So, to our GM from MTN, there is a gift that the lady suggested that we give you. But we are not going to say here, we might just see it through. But a token of thanks for the classy lady that you are, I would like to ask my team member to please offer you a bouquet of flowers. Anything else, you will have to go and declare at work and leave it in your office. So we decided otherwise where that is concerned. And thank you very much for coming all the way again. Then, ladies and gentlemen, next up, I think this is the time we'd like to thank our keynote speaker. What I'd like to say is that this man has actually, as an African, as a South African, I'm one of those people who got heartful. If you know the Leon Schuster movie, it's not a swear word. Afrikaans is a very beautiful language. It's just a beautiful, expressive word. But when I got heartful with what's happening in the country. You work hard, you study hard, and you think that solutions will come. You try to contribute towards the solutions, and then there are just places where there's supposed to be order. It's supposed to be the best of what we are giving from the ground up, and things are just going haywire. And I think I was one of those people who said, you know what? How much is that ticket to Australia? And then I came across this gentleman who made me feel ashamed as a black African to want to leave my country. I was once in his talks and he asked the question, he said, who is proudly South African in here? And I thought this question is a very classy question, so I'm going to give a classy answer and not raise my hand. After the exercise that he did, I felt extremely ashamed. And from that moment onwards, my heart turned around and I knew that this is my country. Whether I choose to go live in LA, I cannot leave the country. I will still work for the country. I will still provide solutions for the country. And I can proudly say that despite everything that is happening in this dysfunctional family, I'm proudly South African, and a person recently in my adult life who has made me conscious about that is our keynote speaker today. And I'm going to ask my team, okay, I think he should come in front here. We have a special gift that we'd like to present to you. I call him also Ndona, Big Boss. Now, this special gift completes you as an African. So, today you are not just a white South African.
Am I white? Now you tell me.
Oh, yeah. We'll come to that. You're not just a white South African, but you are a holistic white and black South African. And that we have over there, it's a very, it's majestic. It's very royal, what you have on your head. And that's how we induct you into, the whole Africanism. So you are whole right now. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a keynote speaker. And thank you so much for touching our hearts and really changing them, because we have changed mine. Okay, thank you very much. And then, ladies and gentlemen, next up, our, okay, let me see. I've been given a menu here. Which one do I order now? Okay, next up, let me just mention to I think they are all working right now, to our service providers. In the background, you do things, nobody acknowledges you. I know without Vessel and your team, all the music, everything that's happening here would not have it. As much as we're in the background, thank you so much. I think we have something for you as well later on. Zita, I think all the videos, like we are saying nowadays, videos, they tell the story. So you are able to help us tell our story through capturing all the videos of everything that we do. And we thank you as well and the team that you've brought. And yeah, you will receive your token as well after hours, because right now you are busy and making this possible. Elsa for photography, thank you so much for the beautiful pictures that you are capturing. And our ushers who came in early to come and help us, thank you so much. Thank you so much also to Ilanga Estate for accommodating us in this beautiful venue. I'd also like to thank our sponsors for the day. You'll see the waters, especially the sanitizers, I think from GE Media, which is GE Media. What is the name again? I want to say it in full, but let me not say the name of the company. This is the company of a gentleman called Teboya Jako, a very young entrepreneur who is who's doing well in the media space. Thank you so much for the sanitizers that you have sponsored us with. I've seen yours have got 71% alcohol, so I don't know what is the 1% for, but I think they are more potent than the others. So thank you very much for that. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you will agree. I think our entertainment for today, this is a very classy event. This is a very formal event. And for such, we honor everyone who can come and entertain. But I think for this kind of event, it deserves that kind of class. And Khotso Panache has given us that class. And we'd like to say thank you so much to him for the beautiful performance that he's given us. Yes. And by the way, everyone that I'm mentioning, I'm your opera today, you're all getting something. So my team will give it to you later. And then as I come close, to closing, I'd like to say to my team, which right now I would like them to please ascend the stage, because yes, Mariette, come up. Program director, you may get up as well. I've got a system in my company that we call an apprenticeship. I'm very paid because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an innovator. I'm not really so much people's orientated, but I think I am. I've got passion for people, but not much patience. So for me to take on a task in order to help and teach people work, that is one daunting task that I don't like. But I must say that because of when you look at like the Action Coach program, your induction and your interview program and stuff, we get to find the right people for a company. And I must say, for the past few years, we've had great people. One of them in absentia right now, our EBL director, Ms. Terry Klopo. She's done a great work. I mean, I was in the US when the recruitment was done. She's the one who brought you guys into the program in 2020. We'd like to wish her well because she's not doing well. Otherwise, she would have been here with us today. And her deputy, Matapelo, who is on some short sabbatical in Joburg, where she's furthering her studies as well. But more so, I think the reason why I asked the team to come in front here, first of all, we've worked, again, going back, having to lead the team. They have ignited my passion, to work in the business, and do the operations. And I must say, what a joy it's been to work with you guys. Mariette, who is our event coordinator, thank you so much for the great job that you've done, everything done on time, exactly, even beyond. When I walked in here, I said, this is beyond what I expected. So thank you so much for the great work that you've done. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, next up, now this is the new generation of EBL. Mam Kusile, I'm sure you are expecting our what we call our legends of EBL. As the business is growing, we place them in different departments. Now, you're looking definitely at the new generation of EBL here. And that's Mahauta Malindi, who proudly, actually, we challenged her. Instead of asking Zita to do the graduation video for us, we said, you know what? Since you've got this skill, as much as, your graduation presentation was actually done by her, and it so happens that she's our new apprentice, qualified journalist. She's also a content developer and researcher in the company. So thank you very much for the hard work that you've put in. We threw you in the deep end, and I could see how you were blushing. Definitely, yes. You could see how you were not blushing, man, how you were actually stressing and crying and all that. But I must say, job well done, I think, for your first project. And then right here, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the applause. We can hear it, it's so loud at home. So right here next to me, now this is Bonolo. Also, I think 2-3 years back, she came in as an intern as well. Bonolo is not just an intern, just like Matapelo that you know. She's working in the company. She is studying as well through the university. And Bonolo, I must say that I think for the past 2-3 years, your growth, right now you've got your own department, admin and communication. She's running that. And I must say you've done well. I see, when I look at our guests, I saw how you welcome them, how you've communicated with everyone, how you've put everything together. So I must say your growth, I'm really, really proud of your growth. So, and you are growing. I think soon you'll be the donor as well. So with all of that, it is my joy really to see you guys growing so much. So well done for the hard work that you've done. And then, ladies and gentlemen, on my left-hand side here, Lesala Kheteng. I must say, the gentleman is not feeling well. I'm surprised that he can move. We actually sent him home a few days back. He's been bedridden and working from not just home, but from his bed. And this morning he woke up and said, you know what, no matter what happens, I'm going to go there. Either I'm on a wheelchair, I will come and I will direct the program as we have planned in the beginning. So I call him Mr. Cool, as you guys know. He's the coolest guy. Even in the midst of crisis, he will sort it out without his, I don't know, I want to say his emotions, or they remain intact. He keeps his cool. Whether there's crisis, whether it's happiness, he keeps his cool. So I call him Mr. Cool. So with these words, I just want to say, first of all, Mr. Cool, after here, you go home, newly married, luckily, so your wife is going to look after you well. I won't say hopefully, I know he will. So you go home and, continue looking after yourself. But thank you so much for your dedication, that you got out of bed the way you are feeling. And yeah, my right-hand man in the business, in the action coach department. So thank you so much for the great work that you've done. I've seen your growth as well. By the way, he's one of the men, Mekusile. This is one of our graduates from SAGE program, our school entrepreneurship program. That's where he started his businesses there. And right now, he has grown. He's worked he's worked as a teacher in a school as well. He's worked for other institutions. And now he's back to where we actually gave him the opportunity to be an entrepreneur. So with that being said, team, thank you so much. We've given our guests the gifts, so you will get your food later. Maybe your bonus is at the end of the month. So thank you so much. Thank you. All right, and then last but not least, I just want to say to you, the graduates at home, my last words to you. I'm glad that our keynote speaker mentioned that the word pivot, because everyone was just coming up, all these webinars, pivot this, pivot that, whatever. So to us people who are actually specializing in this field, practically, not just academically, you go further and find out what does this mean. And I must say I was one of the people, I'm very privileged to be under, the leadership and to have not just as a franchisor, but a coach, like Mr. Welby Cook, because then there's a whole lot of intense research that goes into that so that we can correct. So as entrepreneurs, you don't just say things and do things you don't know. And that is exactly what gives you the edge. So I just want to say that it has been my honor and privilege to work with you guys. We've seen some of you, you had to refocus, you had to redirect you, others had to expand, others had to just survive, others had to shrink, and others had to exit their businesses. But more so, the most important word that was being said today, others had to innovate. And proudly so, none of you went down with COVID. So because a lot of you listened, those ones that we had to do, whatever that we needed to do, the changes we needed to do in your businesses, you listened, and today you are still standing. None of you has gone down. And for that, truly speaking, you deserve a big round of applause. And I must say to you, in closure, there's that formula of success. Like politicians, I said in closure for the fourth time now. Forgive me, we are living in a political country. The formula of success, where you take your dreams that you have, multiply them by your goals, and then, very important, you multiply them by the plan. You have to plan. But very important, which is something that many people, when you get into business, because most of you did not even study business, you don't understand business academically, you don't even have a lot of vocab for business. That learning part, the learning and the action, is what you guys have taken. And I'd like to say, please continue learning as you are learning, upgrade your learning, and take spaces, like Miss Universe has said, take spaces. This year, with MTN, we are focusing, we want more women in the program, minimum 30% upwards, and the youth in our program to go out there and disrupt. I think with these words, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations once more, and thank you very much for this beautiful function that we could have because of you. Now we are in a celebratory mood, so I know you are busy celebrating at home. We will make sure that later on, SABC One, and that's why people don't want to pay their TV licenses, because they keep repeating their programs. So maybe we will just repeat this live program for you so that you can incorporate your celebrations at home as you are doing them, and then we'll take them out of where you are watching from, and then you can see yourself how you celebrated. So with these words, I just want to say thank you very much to all our guests and everyone who's been here. Thank you.
this program. The man put everything together. He saw the vision. We brought all the stakeholders together so that you and I can be a part of this amazing program. So we'd like to also thank you very much, Dr. Topiti, seeing the vision and also bringing this program together. So ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the conclusion of our program today, and please help me to invite to close Porto Panache to perform Nessin Dogma as our procession exits.
Hi, my name is Mahota Malindi, and I just sat through the first virtual graduation ceremony for the class of 2020 for the ICT SMME program that was facilitated by the EBL Institute. So the program was beautiful, but I think it's important that we hear from our sponsors.
So we've stayed with the EBL institution, I think more than anything, because it is talking to the same ethos that MTN has adopted as a strategic intent to empower small business, to empower the youth, to empower the women, using ICT as a platform to further their businesses and grow their businesses. We've seen the growth in the business, we've seen the retention of the businesses that have gone through the program and the successes that come with the program. So for us, it has been a perfect fit, and that is why we find it easy to keep saying, can we evolve together through the lessons that we've learned as an organization that's working together. This partnership has been one of the most successful, and we applaud our beneficiaries to make sure that all the lessons that they've learned, they use them in their day-to-day, in them growing business. Let them grow other businesses and other small businesses from the lessons that they've learned. And together we can only succeed. The partnership between EBL and MTN has been successful because it has stood the test of time. We have walked this journey together since 7 years now, and in the 7 years we have managed to evolve, adapt and make the program responsive to the needs of the communities. We've always looked at it as we would like to look at youth as training, we like to look at women specifically, and more than anything, would like to use technology as a driver, as an enabler. So this program has remained in adapting, in making sure that we walk the journey together. And for me, I think one of the most important things was the way we adapted during the lockdown and the COVID, turning very quickly into virtual platforms, making sure that our programs are pertinent to our beneficiaries, but more than anything, making sure that all people that are involved realize the dream that MTN has always wanted to reach more people, ensure that we get to understand what is important for a small business to survive in these turbulent times. So for me, that is what has been very, very important and successful. The graduation for the class of 2020 was on point. It was professional, the ambience was perfect, and more than anything, God sent the rain that we needed on this day. It marks it as a special day. For me, special days like this are worth celebrating any day. This has been one of the most professional graduation events I've been to. Very classy, very virtual, but still talking to the people in the audience that we need to talk to. It has been successful. And I thank the team for putting it together, the partners for putting it, making sure that it happens. But more than anything, for the day that has been perfect in every sense. I thank you.
It was a very refreshing experience. It was our first round of direct involvement in this program. And the cooperation, right from planning till today, went very smooth, and we look forward to dealing with this program in the future as well. There's opportunity in unpredictability. If everything just stayed the same linear as it used to be in the past, there wouldn't have been these great opportunities for young entrepreneurs to pursue going forward. The best value of the EBL Institute, I think, is to create a vehicle for corporate South Africa to help young entrepreneurs realize their dreams, providing the mechanisms and the resources in place to guide these youngsters to become successful and sustainable businesses.
The 2020 graduation has been a smoothly run yellow carpet affair in a wonderful venue in Bloemfontein within Mangaung in Central Africa and Middle Earth. So what a wonderful journey we've had this morning. Bloemfontein in the rain is always a blessing. It's wonderful to go full circle with the class of 2020. For me, the best value of the EBL Institute is this beautiful invitation to brothers and sisters in South Africa who are contemplating starting up, going through the paces, etc. This beautiful invitation with capacitation to say, take the plunge, grow wings on your way down, and we'll support you for a number of steps. Even after graduation, we'll support you. So I love the fact that not only is there the invitation, the capacity building, there's also the walk with you for a number of years, something which I believe many entrepreneurial development programs in South Africa direly need.
I think the gap is half in our mind more so than what we face. And I think the best way to bridge any gap is to find people to collaborate with. I think as humans, we grow up thinking about scarcity, that there's not enough, and therefore we don't reach out to find other people to partner with. But the reality is there is an abundance. We thought as a world we'd run out of food when we had 1 billion people on the planet. We now have 7. So I think the best way to get leverage, to get growth, to get traction quicker is to find people that are like-minded, that have similar values, that have a similar vision, and say, right, how do we collaborate, partner, work together to find the solutions? Because as humans, we don't have to do it on our own. We are a sentient being, we like community. And the more we can actually bring that together in business, the more we'll shortcut the process to success for sure. Well, I think what we have here in the EBL program is a blend of a partnership that works. We've got the University of the Free State, we've got the EBL Institute, we've got Action Coaches, the business coaching organization, and the funding partner of MTN, together with the delegates that make this work. I believe strongly if you took one of those partners out, we wouldn't have the success that we have. And the beauty about partnerships is whilst we bring complementary skills, we also learn from each other. And what happens is the traction by which advancement happens, innovation happens, just gets faster and faster. So the more you have those partnerships actually walk a path together, the better the results are. And the better the results are, not just for the beneficiaries at the end of the day, which may be you as a student, but for the organizations themselves, because we learn from each other and we really make long-lasting relationships and become friends whilst building businesses together, which is a really privileged position to be in for sure. I think the EBL Institute is the foundation, and any business, any process is built on a foundation. And with the EBL Institute, you really have the privilege to build that foundation, because it's with that foundation that one needs to know and understand that I need to apply those same skills that I've learned to take my business forward, because I won't not have challenges going forward. But if I tap back into those skills, those lessons, those experiences, not just from the facilitators or the content, but even from my fellow entrepreneurs on the program, I then have the ability innate to deal with any challenge that comes my way and face the situation and the problems that I might face.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank EBL Institute, Action Coach Tabapiti, and UOFS for the award. Thank you for making me one of the best entrepreneur women in the Free State. And with all the knowledge that I've gathered, I want to promise you that I will still push and do my best. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so honored. I'm so excited. I did not expect this award. EBL team, thank you so much. UOFS, MTN, thank you for being part of this. Last but not least, Dr. Piti, I now understand why you are the best action coach in Africa. You truly are the best. 2020 was difficult, but I can tell you one thing. My business thrived under your guidance. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Hip hip hooray! Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to the EBL. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to Mr. Tabapiti for everything that he's done and just impacting us the way he did. I even follow the guy on Facebook now. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I received this award, and I'm very appreciative of what the EBL has done for us. And I say, Tele Apele.
This opportunity to thank EBL, more especially Dr. Piti, for having let his organization recognize me and find me where I was hidden, and also the EBL staff that always communicated sense and channeled me to understand what was needed.
Hi guys, my name is Bulelani. I'd like to thank the EBL Institute for this award. Thank you to Action Coach Dr. Thabo Pitso. I'd like to thank the EBL Institute, MTN, and you offs. Much appreciated, guys. Thank you.